Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 123rd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by the Jude Law to my Ethan Hawke, Fitzy, aka Liam.
What? I'm Jude Law. Okay. Hey, what's up?
Okay, the logic was, I feel like if you wear glasses, Liam, and they do the weird, because Ethan Hawke and Jude Law don't really look that alike, but they do the thing they do in the film where they compare the photos back and forth, and you had glasses on. I feel like it would be this sort of similar amount of me and you, like, oh yeah, they kind of vaguely look like, you know what I mean?
Wait, what?
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, but I'm shorter, so I would have to be the get the surgery done on the legs. Yeah.
Dude, that was messed up.
Yeah.
You know, that's real. You can, like, if you break your kneecaps, they will add like 3 inches to your height, like in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gonna play some basketball.
I didn't know that. I was gonna ask, like, what did they actually do? Because I mean, I understood the gist. They like messed up his legs and made him taller, but like, what's the procedure actually involve? You know?
It's probably just reconstructing your like bones in like a safer way to ensure like there's no fragments anywhere. You just like no, they kind of have to add a bit of plating and just add some height. I don't know.
Gee.
Oh my god!
Like inches of metal? Is that just in the middle of your leg?
Oh, there's probably something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
It was nasty, man. I didn't like it. And we've also got Jaden. Jaden, do you want to pick a cast member that you can be? Or I was going to say Uma Thurman. That felt a bit, I don't know.
Like, I can be the evil brother that struggles with everything. I feel like that's. Oh yeah, I think that's fitting. Yeah.
Who played him, by the way? Because he sort of looked familiar to me, but I didn't know.
I looked him up. I think it's the only notable.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, maybe I've never seen him. All right, well, you can play the evil brother, Jaden. Good job. Well done. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Gattaca, which opened in the US on the 24th of October, 1997. It was directed by Andrew Nicole. It is a sci-fi drama, and the synopsis says, a genetically inferior man assumes the identity of a superior one in order to pursue his lifelong dream of space travel. Very good. Jaden, I believe you've seen the film before. What did you think this time?
Yeah, this was really, really strong film. I don't know. The first time I watched it, I don't know whether it was because it was at school or something. I think I might have dismissed it a bit. I still enjoyed it, but you know, there's obviously like a tendency just for school films that, you know, a little bit of disdain.
Yeah.
But this time, I don't know. It's like it's like simultaneously not groundbreaking, but like still does very well to kind of just like, I don't know, just push themes in a very digestible way, you know. I think that like it's so clear watching this film, like just kind of like the way that Nicole developed over time, and like it's like if like it's so clear like how this film went into In Time, you know. Like
oh yeah,
if Gattaca
so funny.
If Gattaca had been made 15 years later, it would have looked exactly like In Time, I reckon. So I don't know. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. No, I liked it.
You watched it at school in what class?
In ethics, religion.
Oh, that's right. You did say that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a cool thing to watch there. I wish I did. Damn.
Yeah, I thought we all did. I don't know. Yeah.
I definitely did not. No, dude, this is my first viewing. This movie rules. Like, I didn't know what to expect, and it was a very pleasant surprise. I almost feel like, I don't know, it almost sort of felt like what I wish Minority Report was, if that makes sense. I feel like they sort of do different things. They're both sort of sci-fi concepts but following a protagonist in sort of a suburban environment. I don't know. And sort of, I mean, they're not the same premise at all, but in terms of like taking one philosophical idea and like having that be the catalyst for your whole film, sort of does that as well. But I don't know, man, essentially everything in this movie just works for me. I thought it was great. So yeah, Liam, tell us, spill the beans. Gattaca. I believe you've seen this film a few times.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's a bit of a comfort watch, whatever. But about the In Time thing, I didn't know Andrew Nicole directed In Time, and there was like a moment in the film because the film is like lit beautifully. I think it's like really like low lighting, and like there's this moment of the film. I think they're in this like long like it kind of looks like what do you call them? Like those things in LA, like the water basins or whatever, like those long, you know, deep
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it reminded me of In Time. Like, wow, that looks like that. But I didn't even know that he also directed that, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love Gattaca. I think it's like incredibly I think it's an incredibly cool mixture of like different like 50s, you know, 50s like cars and kind of society, and also just like, yeah, you know, futuristic kind of. It's not like overly like
It's
it's
real
slowly lit
subtle.
and it's
Like,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like the opposite of Blade Runner, kind of like when you think of Blade Runner, like the first
Yeah.
Blade Runner. It's like really like the tech is kind of everywhere, but and this is kind of there's actually that much technology. It's just that it's kind of implanted into the background, I guess. Yeah, which is really cool. But yeah, I think it's a really great story. I think it's like it's not like an uprising story, which I think is like kind of what you expect, like uprising against the fascist system, whatever. It's kind of it
Mm,
works within the system and kind of tries to achieve its goals within that, which I think is cool as well.
totally.
Um, and yeah, I love Ethan Hawke. I think Ethan Hawke's a genius, but I just love everyone in the movie, and I think the story is so solid, and it's just a great 2 hour film as well. So and the soundtrack as well. Yeah, yeah, I love
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You've covered a lot of ground there. That's I totally all agree with. I want to brought up in time just to speak with the aesthetic. It turns out sort of coincidentally that um like we sort of chose the aesthetic question of the week sort of, as a, oh yeah, sci-fi thing. It's a cool question. But like I didn't expect it to really tie in so well with this film and the discussion because dude, I love the aesthetic. I love what it goes for sci-fi wise. What you said about Blade Runner, it's totally true. Like I love I love everything about it. I love the technology that they do have. It's limited, but like everything's still like these funny CRT monitors that they all use, and with the keyboards and the workstations, and
Mhm.
Yeah,
I love the little Game Boy screens that they use to validate everyone's identity. That has the
yeah,
same
yeah.
terrible like little screen on it. I love all that shit. I thought it was great. Yeah, and just the environments in the city and everything really doesn't feel really that advanced at all, which I think is awesome. Um, but I've got some trivia about it. Shane, this one's for you. Many of the futuristic buildings in the film are actually quite old, obviously, but many of these represent a type of postmodern architecture called brutalism, which was popular in the 1950s. The two massive arches seen behind Jerome and Irene during their talk are actually the spillway of the oh my god of the dam in Los Angeles. The dam is named. I'm not going to try and say it,
So,
which was built in the 1930s. You want me to say it? The Sepulveda Dam.
okay.
It's dodgy. It was dodgy. The spillway. So is that actually? Okay, the spillway. Is that what those? I know exactly the things you were talking about, Fitzy, like the
Yeah, I think that
melee that
might
you
be it.
get. The
It's
spillways.
when Uma Thurman gives him like the piece of her hair.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Like, I love how subtle this kind of film is, and like kind of. It's funny because I just did a project on postmodernist architecture this week, so like,
yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
Um, yeah, it lends itself really well to it, to the kind of sci-fi aesthetic, and like, it's like cyberpunk kind of takes that kind of design language and then just like kind of amplifies it through like flooding it with technology, whereas this keeps it really simple. I don't know. I love how like it's interesting because like it's like this film is experiencing something that like usually only like older sci-fi products like from the 40s, 50s, even earlier experience, where like it's already at a point where the technology is mostly obsolete. Like we've got like DNA tracking, we've got we're well on the way to manned missions to other planets. We've got like electronic cars are no longer a fantasy. Like the only thing that's kind of like sci-fi anymore is kind of like the genetic kind of control of the kids, but like we're even on our way to that with like stem cell research. So like it's kind of experiencing that
Mm.
thing like older sci-fi products do, where like the technology is becoming obsolete. So like I'm worried that people aren't going to engage with it because it's no longer an interesting thing to see. Because like if it's no longer sci-fi, is it really worth the watch? So yeah, but no, I think it's fantastic. I think like even like the houses that they occupy, like both Uma Thurman's and Ethan
Oh yeah,
Hawke's,
that's so true.
they're stunning, just like glass and just stone and just fucking fantastic.
Yeah, well, it's funny because they're like really postmodern, like really modern. Like they're like the thing that like fucking Robert De Niro in Heat, like he looks out on. Like it's very like
Oh, totally. Yeah.
it's
Great
totally like,
point.
but like it contrasts with like the buildings, which are like kind of old. Yeah, I just said like old like 50s kind of things.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like it adds to the film thematically for me as well. Like that's so great point that you mentioned, Jane. I didn't even. Yeah, like what am I watching this movie for if it feels so grounded? But I don't know. I feel like it adds to the film's concepts. I feel like this is a world that isn't ours, but is very plausible. And I think that's exciting. I don't know. I think the entire premise and concept that it plays with, the main thing being like it builds a larger world in a lot of different interesting ways, but like the core premise of the stem cell research and children no longer being conceived naturally, and you can manipulate traits of any human being, and that kind of tampering and manipulation of genetics is genuine and a fascinating thing that as you mentioned already, Jane, is like a thing that's happening and that we're gonna have to grapple with very soon. The idea that I didn't know what this movie was about at all. Like, it was called Gattaca. I thought, I don't know, it's going to be like some goddamn space station or some shit where like it's super curved designs and all that sort of stuff. So it was the total opposite of that, which I really loved. And then to get this concept thrown in there of the baby's lifespan being immediately determined, like that scene where you see Ethan Hawke bored and they just like literally 10 seconds after he comes out, they're like, all right, yeah, this guy's going to live for 30 years. And they tell you everything about him. It was wild. I thought it was really well done. And as the narration says, the new underclass, everyone being discriminated down to a science, everything determined at birth. It's sort of, it was a lot. Like, I feel like there's a lot to think about and say about the way the film presents these very real ideas. And I don't know, like, imagine that knowledge would just change the way, as it does in the film, the way we interact with everything in the world around us. So it's totally wild. So Liam, I pose the question to you: Would you would you genetically engineer your child?
Well, I think at a certain point everyone does because everyone else is doing it. And they kind of like society kind of plays by those rules. But oh yeah, the cameras. Like people who criticize this film. One of the biggest criticisms of this film is that there's like no cameras and like
Oh,
a super like surveillance,
interesting.
like surveillance focused society or whatever. But I feel like so I think it adds to the aesthetic that there are no like that there isn't technology everywhere. But also I don't feel like you need cameras in like if you have this like genetic, system that like checks like your genes so easily and everyone's kind of passed through that way. But I feel like also everything in the film, everyone is so uniform in the film, and there's so much conformity that you don't need to really enforce rules that much. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of shown through like Ethan Hawke is so surprised that when he becomes Vincent, like it's so easy for him. Everyone just kind of accepts it, and they don't need to like analyze him any further than just the genetic tests, which I think is really cool. And like there's no like obvious scene in the film where he's like discriminated against, like for his his inferior genes or anything. I mean there is, but it doesn't like spell it out really like obviously and try and be pedantic about it or anything. But like his narration where he kind of goes through his like past as someone who's deemed inferior is like it's really good.
Oh yeah. It's awesome. I don't understand that criticism at all. By the way, I feel like the film addresses it pretty head on. I mean, don't they literally say in the film like, when was the last time anyone looked at photos?
Yeah, they do say that. I thought of that. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, that's kind of really wild in itself. But that, I mean, I think it's pretty clear we're talking about a society now that doesn't really value, like, its values have drastically shifted. Yeah, to the point where that scan when you enter the building at work is all you need.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, great point about the laws and law enforcement as well. For me, the way the police behave in this world was notable because they seem sort of less necessary, but also more powerful in some ways. Like they round up everyone at the drop of a hat constantly. Like they go and sweep the streets and make everyone line up, and mandatory blood tests multiple times. When they do it in Gattaca as well, it was kind of crazy. Like that's definitely a sort of dystopian situation.
Mm.
So yeah, that all added to that. But I thought it was so funny. Speaking on the photos, when the inspector guy came over and like the photo of Ethan Hawke was right there on the screen, and he like doesn't even notice it. And he starts just pointing at the work on the Ethan Hawke screen, because I was like, what? Isn't that literally Ethan Hawke? And the other one he uses is literally Jude Law. But apparently the ID photo of Jerome is a digitally morphed version of the faces of both Ethan Hawke and Jude Law.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because I looked at the photo, I didn't think it was like purely Jude Law. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah.
It looks more Ethan Hawke.
There was something about it. Yeah. Which one? The one with the glasses, or
sorry,
the one with the glasses? The photo?
No, the one he uses as Jerome. I think it looks very much like Ethan Hawke.
Oh,
although like they have merged it.
Okay.
Yeah.
To me, it just straight up like Jude Law, and I was surprised they merged it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Isn't that weird? So I guess it was effective. Yeah. That's wild. I don't know. Where's the goddamn trivia I had about this? Oh, yeah. In terms of the crazy genetics, engineering, all that sort of stuff, when Gattaca was first released, as part of a marketing campaign, there were adverts for people to call and have their children genetically engineered. Thousands of people called wanting to have their offspring engineered in that way.
Fair enough.
I don't know. It was kind of surprising. Like, do you think the film, I don't know, is it a critique of that direction?
Yeah, I'd say it is.
Yeah.
Not like balls to the walls, like, this is horrible, never do it, but like
more of a warning, maybe. Yeah, that makes sense. It made me think, like, it's a complicated discussion, and that scene when Jerome's parents, oh my god, the name's gonna be hard. When Vincent's parents were sitting down and they were, choosing their next kid, who ended up being the brother, and they're talking with the doctor, and they've got the goddamn eggs or the cells, I don't know what they are, the 4 sitting there on the screen, and the doctor's like, yeah, you can just literally right here choose a perfectly healthy child that's going to live to 100 years old and all this sort of stuff. It's like, when it's presented to you like that, and even when the parents are like, well, we want to leave some stuff to chance, I'm sort of like when it's presented that clearly, I'm sort of just like, why would you? I get it. Where I'm just like, yeah, why wouldn't you just take like the perfect healthy child and not have to worry about that? But then, I don't know, for me, like, there's almost another layer to it where I almost feel like that's separate from then as soon as the child comes out, and then like having so much of their fate sort of written out as, I mean, that's what the film sort of deals with, but like having their futures determined by science on the spot, like knowing all this stuff about them in advance, like when they determine like how long he's probably going to live and his chances of diseases and all that sort of stuff. Like I almost feel like, is there a situation where you can ensure like a healthy child, but I don't know, like make the choice not to know all the probabilities of everything? I feel like that might be a nice middle ground. I'd have to think on it more, but that's sort of the conclusion I came to. Because I don't want to know if my kid's going to die when he's 20, you know what I mean? I don't need to know that. But it's tricky. I don't know. Any thoughts, Jaden?
No, I'll let you sit in that. And just in silence.
Let me sit in that. Sweet. Cool. God damn, everyone in this movie is terrific. This was by far my favorite Ethan Hawke performance I've seen. I think he was super believable as his character, super likable. Um, I love. I think he services the story so well as this person, and it sets it up really well that he's this guy that wants to push through the boundaries that this new society has created for him. And at the end of the day, like, we can talk about, as I have just ranted about, all the interesting philosophical implications and everything that the film poses that you can talk about, and it's quite complex, and I love all that about sci-fi and that sort of thing. I think the film does that really well. But then on the other hand, it sort of is able to do that while also sort of just achieve through its main character just a really simple message that's awesome, which is just, you can achieve anything, you know? You can do it. Like, I thought that was really nice, and I think that Ethan Hawke doing that at the end was, I was like, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome. I can't remember what you said earlier, Fitzy, but you put it another way like that too that I thought was really perfect as well. At the end of the day, I think that's really just what the film's about. That, like, none of that shit really, at the end of the day, matters if you're determined and you've got the will and the passion and the dream and all that sort of shit. That positive affirmations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a very easy movie to, like, get into. Ethan Hawke's plot. Yeah, it's very, very positive, very nice. But yeah, Ethan Hawke is, I don't know, it's just really good. I don't think anything in the film I can, because I don't think I can say too much about his performance, because it's just, I don't know, it's really good. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he's just believable to me. I totally I see it in him. That I said the drive, I think. Yeah. So yeah, he was a standout to me. But everyone's great. Jude Law was great. I loved his character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they, like, introduce Jude Law is really, like, at first he's kind of, like, a bit, their relationship is really good, because at first he's kind of bitter towards him. He's kind of, like, doubts him a lot. He kind of has a bit of judgment or, like, snobbiness, but then he kind of comes around on him as he, like, kind of realizes he has this will to escape, to get to space.
Yeah.
He, like, comes to respect him, and then they have, like, kind of fun dynamic in the movie. Like, he comes home and they, like, want to get drunk or whatever. It's like, no, that's nice.
Yeah. It was really sweet at the end when he said, your dream helped me. And they sort of helped, they drastically helped each other, which was really nice. Yeah, I totally agree. Their whole bromance was really cool. I was sort of worried at the start, to what you were saying, that it was going to turn into some sort of, like, rivalry situation.
Yeah.
It was going to be hostile in some way. And I totally felt the same way about Uma Thurman's character as well. Like, I thought for sure her whole thing was going to be, like, undermining and exposing him and getting the mission for herself. And that's not what it ended up being, which was a nice surprise as well. I actually thought the film, that scene when it's after, like, she realizes in the alleyway for the first time that something's not right with him, and then they sleep together. And then there's that scene where, like, he notices the hair on the bed and he gets up early in the morning, and then she, like, opens her eyes in bed. Well, there was a moment where I was like, oh, this is all a trap on her part that she's laid to get his DNA and to, like, prove in some way that he was the murderer, and then that she's going to expose him and get the mission for herself. But yeah, the film got me, because that's not what it was. So every time you think the film's trying to trick you, it's just wholesome. Just sweet. Really wholesome experience, yeah. Oh, dude, I was so bummed when Eugene carked it at the end, I was so upset. I was, like, genuinely like, dude, I don't know. Like, it was sad. His whole thing...
Yeah. Sorry.
Wait, no, Eugene? Goddamn, real Jerome.
Oh yeah, real Jerome. Sorry, I meant to say Jerome. Yeah, Jerome.
It's so hard. I know. It's okay.
I forgot the other name, Jerome. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I was bummed. I mean, I love his whole thing of how he's, like, the total opposite of Ethan Hawke. He's someone who was born valid and, is perfect physically in every way, but now he's lost his dreams. He's lost everything. He's lost his faith, and the total contrast of that is really interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I was pulling for him. I really wanted him to have some hope at the end, so it was sort of...
Yeah,
It was a
I forgot
bummer.
that he killed himself because like when he goes like, "Oh, I'm gonna traveling on my own," I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
he's gonna have a
Yeah.
good time," you know. I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
this will be great for him," you know, that freedom and whatnot.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
that's
he,
like
yeah,
that's like the one element that kind of makes it not. I think it balances like the positivity and like the
yeah,
the ease of the journey that I was talking about,
Mm.
because it's like it kind of gives it the movie like a depressing like kind of undertone, which is like like the movie is about will, I guess, and like he doesn't have any will to do anything, so it's a
Great.
contrast in
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Great point. That's totally true. Because as much as I'm upset and would have been a happier human being if the final scene was Jude Law sitting next to the Eiffel Tower or some shit, like, yeah, there is something. Yeah, that's totally true. There is something to say that like the film might lose a bit of impact with that. It only makes Ethan Hawke's success more satisfying.
Good
I
for
love how
him.
they just like go into space, just like suave as, just dressed in suits, just sitting there stone faced.
That's so true.
Dude, when they get to that planet, they're gonna let loose. They're gonna get rid of all their suits they've been wearing for their whole lives.
Yeah,
No genetic system. They're gonna be having so much fun.
But didn't the film sort of build up that Ethan Hawke was going to be alone? But he had mates there.
I mean, alone in the
Yeah.
sense that you're not on the planet, and you're gonna be,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not
I don't
completely
know.
alone on another planet or anything else. That'd be pretty
Yeah.
hard.
I can still have an orgy, it's fine. It's sort
Okay.
of it's sort of a different dynamic. You know what I mean? Not to what I was exactly picturing. Who else is there? There's the brother. It took me. Okay, Fitzy, give me it out of 10. Stupid Zach's scale. It took me in like way too long to realize that the detective was his brother.
I don't think that's true. I think the movie plays that well.
Mm.
I don't think they do. I don't think they give too much information on that.
Also,
know.
it's meant to be sort of a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. I came in like fully expecting.
no, yeah, I think it's like supposed to be a twist.
Cool. Okay, no,
when
that's
it's
great.
actually revealed.
It worked. There's a twist then for me. Yeah,
Okay. Good.
that's good.
Yeah, I think you managed to question why he's kind of horny on Vincent, and like finding him, but like, yeah, I don't think you really meant it. Yeah, because I forgot about that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
He actually misdirects the other detective away from Vincent, like the whole movie. Because he's kind of the other detective. They have a weird dynamic because the other detective is obviously has like a lower number or whatever,
Yeah.
and every time he questions him, he kind of realizes he can't, and he always says to him, he's like, "Oh, why don't we look in the vicinity? Why don't we look for the people in there? It's probably someone working there." And then he's like, "No, we got to check like, homeless people. We got to check like, lower. What do they call them? Like invalids, stuff like that."
Yeah. They had a few names for him, but yeah.
But yeah, the brother's trying to actually protect him for a lot of the movie. But he still is kind of spiteful. So he's kind of like balancing it. He's kind of like conflicted. Yeah.
Yeah. At what point do you think he realized that he was chasing Vincent?
when he
Because-
fucking found out it was Vince's DNA.
Oh yeah, the very start they found the DNA. It was
Oh, so he knew the whole time.
Yeah, like the eyelash
Yeah.
is Vincent's eyelash. It's like he knows
I see.
that he's got something to do with it, or he's there at least,
I see.
because
Okay.
like the first thing we see of him is like the photos flashed on the screen of the detective's office, and he just looks at it and it cuts. So like you kind of assume that. Yeah, I don't want to show his reaction because then you would realize. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because for me, when he shouted it out in the alleyway after they ran out of the club and he was like, shouted Vincent, I was like, oh shit, he knows. But yeah, okay. That's cool. I'm so glad you brought up the dynamic with the other detective. Alan Arkin plays the other detective. I love Alan Arkin. But that was super noteworthy for me too, that there's this older guy and the second they start on screen together, you just sort of assume, oh yeah, the older guy's the boss. And then after the exchange, you realize it's so weird in this world that presumably because of purely genetic reasons that Alan Arkin reports to the young dude, which was a super interesting dynamic that just surprised me. I thought that was a really nice little detail that built out the world a bit more as well.
Yeah.
But the way everything, I don't know, the way the brother dynamic and story is built is just really solid. the whole swimming motif and them the recurring scene of them facing each other was really quite impactful, I thought, and the way it built to the end and the final one at the end was at night time, very atmospheric. You know, the two brothers opposing philosophies, opposing genetics, opposing ways of birth. You know, racing it out in the water. I just thought it was really nice. It was good. Very effective. And of course, dude, Ethan Hawke won it. You kidding me?
I just thought it's such a simple like kind of philosophy that he succeeds on, and like the film, like the whole film's based around of like I just never saved anything, you know, I just gave it away all. Like, it's
yes.
like
yes,
I don't know, it's just like simultaneously like a bit. I don't know, like it's like how did you do it? I just tried more. Fucking like, all right, fair enough.
yeah. No, but it works though. It's super effective, I think.
Yeah.
I also saw like someone brought up the fact that he says that we're closer to the other side, but they're in an ocean, so it's kind of like his mindset is kind of like irrationally like motivating himself or whatever, you know.
But that's what I was trying to figure out. Is it an ocean or is it just like a fucking like I don't know?
No, I think it's an ocean. I think that's what that line means because like it's impossible to get to the other side, but he tells them anything he can to justify himself, like going further. Like it's close to the other side, you know. But
interesting.
Surely not, like, because he's got if he's close to the other, like because otherwise it's just a suicide mission. Like he's gonna keep on swimming until like
well that's what it is. It like every time those 2 times that he swims, he is like willing to kill himself. I think that's part of the point, kind of. Yeah, that is the point of the swimming, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know, because I feel like he would like. I feel like they genuinely were swimming to another side, which doesn't make sense for like the waves, I guess, and like because that's why I was always confused because like it looks like an ocean, but like I don't understand what he gets from like being, you know.
If they were actually closer to another side, I don't think his brother. What's his brother's name? It was
Anton.
like the Anton. I don't think he would have swam back to the shore. They would have actually kept going to the other side if there was another side, but
like
because he was like drowning.
But like Vincent being suicidal like in that way undermines everything else that he does in the film.
I don't think it does. I think it like exemplifies it.
No, because if he's so willing to, because if there is no other side and he's just willing to keep on swimming until he dies, then like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he looks at it that way. Like, I think his whole thing is that because he can die at any moment, like with his heart condition. So his whole thing is that he's just in the moment. He's determined to keep pushing himself, regardless of the outcome. You know what I mean? So I think that's more what it is. If you say, I get what you mean. It's sort of just a different way to look at it, I guess.
But I don't understand why he tells his brother that there's another side if it's a fucking ocean.
I'm trying to explain it. I mean,
That's a fair point.
It's just like there's no way you can possibly win, right? If there's no way you can possibly win, right? You have to try. Like, if you're playing a game and there's no way you can win, you have to try tricks. You know what I mean? Like you have to try extreme things, you know, to try and win.
Right.
Because if you play the game normally, you're never gonna win, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the idea that like he's given himself some like irrational like kind of, you know, belief or something. Well, maybe he doesn't actually believe it, but he's just like saying it to himself over and over in his head, you know, as a kind of way to motivate himself. Like,
yeah, and that's what he does the whole time.
I'll accept that.
Feel free to not accept.
I mean, it makes sense. Like the brother, you know, we're talking about the guy who, you know, is superior genetically in every way, but he knows, you know, barring, I don't know, he gets hit by a car or something. He knows that he's going to live till he's 95 and he's going to be all good and dandy. That's why he wants to stop and turn around, like, because he knows there's a clear sort of end point in his life in mind for him. Like
oh yeah, that's a good point.
He knows, you know, he's not living life like he could die at any moment.
He's not YOLOing.
He's not yes. We can talk about the score because I thought it was rad. I thought it was just that main theme that they have is very nice and quite powerful when it's used, especially during the ocean scenes that we're talking about as well. Jaden, would you say it was a bop?
I didn't really take much notice of it.
Boo. Well, I mean, no, it's not really a bop, is it? Because I feel like a bop is like, yeah, it was great. The score was great, but it wasn't a bop.
And let me go. I'll go listen to a sample, and I'll get back to you in about 4 minutes.
Excellent. Well done. Another thing I thought was noteworthy, at the end when the doctor revealed that he knew the whole time that Vincent was not Jerome. When he made clear that he knew he was an invalid the whole time. That just brought up this interesting thing in my mind, that the idea, as there would be, of course, that there are, I presume, natural-born sympathizers out there. You know, you presume this doctor, I know he's a doctor, so I know he's probably got thoughts and opinions about medical stuff. And he's probably of the mind that, you know, he's probably dislikes the discrimination and the direction society has taken. So I don't know how much he knows about Vincent personally, but he's probably just like, yeah, I realize what's happening here, and I'm just going to let him be.
Well, it's because of his son, isn't it? Because his son's got like a condition, and so it's like sympathetic to people that have no hope. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah, well, his son like wants to go to space as well, so he really likes space. He said, "My son's a big fan of yours." Something.
There you go, confirmed. Perfect. I forgot about that, but yes, that confirms everything. Love it.
Yeah, no, the score's pretty good. Especially,
See, we told you.
Especially the track, The Other Side is called. I assume it's from the ocean scene. Yes.
Yes. I don't know how much there is to say other than, you know, it's good in terms of.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were just going to end with
Oh, that was just a broad statement.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'll let you go in a sec. But in terms of the way the film's shot, like I just like it overall. But there are a few specific moments. Like I really like the way they handled the moment where Vincent has to cross the street and he can't see because of his vision. That was another interesting touch too, that like until that scene, I didn't even click that, like, oh yeah, no one wears glasses in this world, obviously, because who needs them?
Oh yeah, you're an invalid.
Dude, I'd be... Dude, if this shit starts in my lifetime, I'm fucked, for real. But I like the way they handled the POV shots of like Ethan Hawke looking and like not being at the blurred cars and stuff. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen... There's probably plenty of examples I just haven't seen, but of like POV shots of someone's perspective who is visually impaired done quite so well. Not that it's authentic to my experience, by the way. Like I can see way better than that film.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought this was a bit excessive.
I can see way better than that, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, well that scene where he crosses the road is also. I want to keep harping on this point, but like I think Uma Thurman even mentions it in the movie. It's like another point where he was willing to die to like cross the street, basically. You know.
I feel like one of the frequently asked questions on the IMDb is like, why did Ethan Hawke cross the road? Isn't that extremely dangerous? And the answer is like, yes, it is extremely dangerous. And, you know, you shouldn't do this in real life.
That's funny.
Oh, that's dumb. I love it. I liked the line when Uma Thurman said, you need 12 fingers to play that piece on the piano. And Ethan Hawke said, 12 fingers or one, it's how you play. And I was like, that's his character in a nutshell. Very good, Andrew. Very good writing, Andrew. Well done. Very good.
Yeah, this was his first film.
Andrew Nicole's first film.
Yeah. Because I assume you read the bit about like how like he wanted to make Truman Show, but then like too much money, so he went and made this, and like
I didn't know that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like they gave him 20 million, and he couldn't make the Truman Show on 20 million, so it was like, I'll write this instead. And like it shocks me like how like this like as a backup film, like just to fall back on and quickly write, like how effective it is. I think it's probably one of his better works, like if you look at his entire filmography.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a massive fan of the Truman Show, and I like In Time for what it is, but like it doesn't stand to kind of the quality of this film.
He didn't make the Truman Show.
Oh, he wrote it. Sorry,
He wrote it.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I think like yeah, I don't know. I think as a first effort, this is fantastic.
Oh, totally. I mean, I haven't seen all his films, but like I feel like maybe his first and best effort. Maybe.
Wow, bold.
I don't want to be so bold. Yeah, exactly. But yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very, very impressive. I'll tell you, okay, I've honestly pretty much got nothing bad to say about this film, except its poster sucks. I'll say that.
The poster.
Just to balance everything
the
out.
letterbox one.
Letterbox one is terrible. This film deserves a better poster. And even like the IMDb one was better, but like even it wasn't very impressive. I feel like we can do better than that still. Even
It's a bit of a cheap poster, yeah.
like you see that, and I don't want to watch that. You know what I mean? But you should watch it though.
I quite like I quite like the one on the stand, like the stand poster, with like the helix kind of like interweaving between like Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's face. Like it's still not a great poster, but like I think it's better than the.
It's definitely better
than the other two. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. It was illegal to discriminate in this world, which is interesting. Seems like a useless law, but
yeah, but like it's the same way. Like you can't discriminate on job applications today, where like like you're not meant to add like your age, because then people like see that you're 60 and they're like, oh, we don't want you working here because you're 60. But like people will still obviously like you come in for an interview, people see you 60, and you're like, oh well, yeah, nah.
Yeah. It's actually no. That's exact. It's literally the exact same thing as that. We can get to our final verdicts for Gattaca. Jaden.
I'm gonna bump it up by 1 from the current score. I'm gonna slap an 8 on it. Another 8 in the cinema effect world. So yeah,
one of many 8s. Does someone want to go back and listen to every 8 given out by all 3 of us? How many 8s have there been? Oh man, it's about to be. I would say we should start. It an 8.
Oh, sorry. I was still going to again. I was gonna say we should start reviewing worse films, but then like the experience becomes shit.
Let's not do that. Yeah. We can do American Mary Revisited a long time from now, please. Liam, what are you giving it?
It wasn't 8, but I think that like I watched this on Monday, and like during the week I was kind of like I wanted to watch it again, so like I think it deserves a 9 because of that. So yeah, I give it a 9.
Very good. I like that reasoning. Fantastic. I agree with that. Very good. Let's get into news chat. You guys have both seen the Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery trailer. Jan, what did you think of it?
What did I think? Yeah, it was alright. I don't know. I don't think I really put too much stock in the first trailer in the trailer for Knives Out. Anyway, I don't know. It like to me it looks like a bloody Death on the Nile type esque situation. No, it's not. I know it's going to be completely different, but like that's like the vibe I got from the trailer. But it's like, but like I don't know. It's not meant to be. So like I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. I saw Edgar Wright has very high praise for it, so I don't know. It's we'll see.
Okay.
The trailer
I was hoping for a bit more positivity.
Too exciting for me though. Yeah. Like it looks fun. It looks like the same kind of type of thing.
Yeah.
But it looks, I don't know. It just doesn't do much.
Okay. What about you, Fitzy?
I don't know. I think it actually looks like a bit more like animated, I guess, than the other one. Like it feels more, like maybe it'll have more personality. Because like, there's a lot of like zoom in. There's like a lot of weird like camera stuff just in the trailer. I felt like
noticeably distinct from the first one, even.
Yeah, like even more stylistic. Yeah,
cool.
But looks fun.
I didn't see the trailer, but I'm in, dude. I don't need to see the trailer. I'm just excited. We've got some breaking news we can go into. Jaden, how badly do you want to see Inside Out 2? Because
not at all. I was quite disappointed by the first Inside Out. Like it's still a solid movie, but like it was. I think I remember talking about it on the show. Like after experiencing Soul and then going back to watch Inside Out, it just does not hold up in any way. So I saw that it was announced. I was like, there's nothing for me at all.
Anything for you, Fitzy? Do you like the original?
Yeah, I like Inside Out. Inside Out is 5 times more solid than Soul. Sorry, Jaden.
Whoa! Whoa! Yeah. Huge.
It's big. Yeah, I don't know. It looks. I'll watch it. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I liked Inside Out when I saw it, but I only saw it the one time, which I feel like is weird for me for Pixar. But yeah, I feel like I should revisit. I'll revisit the first one before this one for sure. So,
I mean, you've got like 2 years anyway, so
yeah, plenty of time. I mean, I'm definitely going to see this anyway. I love Pixar, so yeah, I'll need to revisit the first one and see what I feel about that. Pixar and Disney, they've announced in the last hour, because D23 is happening, the Marvel and next week's is probably, our news chat's going to be probably huge because they've got the Marvel and Star Wars stuff happening tomorrow, whatever they do there.
Well, there's Star Wars news already. Did you see the Star Wars news today?
What is it? Which one?
It's that Amarnas Fandi has been cast as Ezra Bridger.
Wait, really?
Yes.
No, shut up. Really?
Yes.
How did I not see this? Hang on. This is huge.
He's in King Richard. I think that was the only notable thing I saw.
I don't recall this man.
Yeah, I've never seen him before, which is good. Star Wars does have a trend of casting unknowns. So this goes. I say unknown. It might be a bit cruel because he's done fantastic stuff.
Yeah,
but
yeah. I know.
Like in terms of like not popular people, yeah.
Cool. All right. I mean, he looks like Ezra, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
Cool. I trust Dave. Whatever Dave thinks is good for Ezra, that's great. Well, I'm just glad that Ezra's in it. That's great. Fantastic. All right. Thank you, Jan. I'm glad you brought that to my attention. So there'll probably be even more stuff. That's already quite huge. We've been waiting out for years. So I presume there's going to be even more stuff for next week and tomorrow. So that's cool. But I know Pixar also announced a bunch of new IP films, which I'm sure they've got Elemental coming, and they've got Elio, this new film coming. Or give me an original Pixar film, I'm probably going to love it. So that's awesome. But I know you guys are going to love this, right? The main thing coming out of this morning is the fact that Disney has announced. We already knew about this, but the title for Mufasa, the Lion King, which is a live-action Lion King prequel directed by Barry Jenkins, most notably who did Moonlight. That
movie is going to get reviewed very positively. Then
is it?
Yeah, just by default, he's doing it.
I know, but I feel like how does that work? Because I feel like live-action Lion King reviewed terribly by default. Moonlight, but it's such a stark contrast.
I think people are going to be a lot more apologetic for its misgivings, but now that Barry's directing it.
Okay, and it's an original story.
Yeah,
it's not a remake of anything. So I feel like that's sort of notable as well.
Yeah, but I'm just like, what should be filled with all the same problems that people criticized the 2019, 18, whatever it is one, like the new reboot, but people are just not going to care as much because it's Jenkins. I think it's great. I like Moonlight a lot, but I feel like people are just going to be far more apologetic for it.
Probably. Which I mean, maybe that's just reflects on they should be more apologetic of the first one. You know what I mean? Amazing film. Dude, I'm stoked for this movie. I'm going to see this goddamn movie. Are you kidding me? Mufasa as a baby? Hell yeah. Sounds great. And you get the incredible CG with all the beautifully emotional faces that everyone loves. So yeah, I'm in. Oh, I'm staring this shit. I really hope we do live action Lion King remake episode one day so I can just.
It's not live action,
so hard. Jeez. It's totally live action, isn't it?
It's not. It's animated. It's all animated.
They used real lions. Didn't you know Mufasa played himself?
That's nuts. Yeah, thanks for imparting that knowledge on me.
It's wild. I know. It's great. Yeah. It's great. And Mufasa's. It's like a Many Saints of Newark situation. His son is playing young Mufasa in this.
Well, yeah, there's not many lions left, so I'd expect something like that would have to happen. Yeah, that's bloody nepotism babies.
They only had 3 options. Nepotism lions. Zach scoured for news chat this morning and missed literally the story he's been waiting like a year to hear. I think we're good, Jan. We're good.
Right? Yeah, I reckon we're good.
Yeah, very good, very good. Let's get into our highlights of the week. Jan, what have you been watching?
I watched the first episode of Rick and Morty season 6 because that dropped this week.
Yeah.
And they're releasing it weekly, which surprised me, but also doesn't. I don't know. Just with Netflix's release method. It was solid. It wasn't great by any means, but that's because the season 5 finale was brilliant, kind of piece of TV. And because of the overall tone of Rick and Morty, it's always going to be hard to follow up kind of such a dramatic beat because you have to kind of revert to this kind of lighthearted kind of fun thing. So you're never going to have characters reeling with the event because you have to then make a comedy again. So start of season 6, you're back to cracking jokes, and you're this massive event that felt very serious in season 5 is now kind of taken lightly. But that's like that's the whole tone of the show, really. So it's not really a criticism. It's just like the way it happens. It was okay. It wasn't like Rick and Morty for me personally is just something that improved like infinitely from like from where it started. Whereas this feels a bit like season 1 again, not in terms of like quality, but just like kind of the way it happened. But you know, it's just early season, so it's just kicking about. Yeah, I don't know. I'm keen for the rest of the season. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
Sure. Are you concerned that after you sort of went through Rick and Morty, the first 5 seasons, that it's not going to lend itself as well to a weekly thing?
No, because it is very serialized.
Okay.
In terms of like animated comedies for adults, it is the most serialized one you'll find probably.
Okay.
And especially like the start of this season, like they have set up kind of like something that should have implications later. So like it should be fine to watch weekly.
Cool. Okay. I thought you just might prefer having binged it. I mean, like, you know what I mean? But cool. I get you. Very good. Fitzy, have you been watching Rick and Morty?
No.
What?
Do you know he turned himself into a pickle?
Funny shit I've ever seen.
Funny shit. Oh yeah. No, but I watched Boiling Point. That was good. It's a one-shot movie, so it was all shot in one take, like literally. Like it's all, there was no like artificial cuts or anything. It was actually all shot in one take in a restaurant, and which lends itself very well to the one shot because it's like it's a very stressful environment. Like it's very stressful the whole time, the whole like 90 minutes or whatever. It's basically they have like, you know, they have shortages in stock, and the guy Stephen Graham, who's amazing, is you know, he's trying to deal with like the staff, he's trying to deal with people coming into the kitchen, like personal problems, family, you know, his past, and like there's this other chef guy who wants him to pay him like 200 grand or whatever. And so yeah, it's like it's very, the one shot is like very purposeful in the film, and like it follows all the staff in the kitchen for like a minute or so. It just like goes, you know, the camera like follows them, and you learn about their own struggles and stuff. So yeah, like it's very purposeful, and yeah, it's really good. It's kind of like obvious in some ways, like someone has like a food allergy in the film, and you can guess what happens later. You know, like they're setting it up so obviously. Like there's not a spoiler, but well, it is. Sorry, spoilers. But yeah, the film is like really, really great. Yeah, Stephen Graham is like really underrated, I feel. And there's another actress in the film who is like the co-manager or whatever, like co-chef. She's really good. But yeah, just check it out. That's on Prime.
I also feel Stephen Graham is really underrated, especially in Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Personally.
Oh yeah, his rage is amazing.
Oh yeah. I watched Bullet Train, and
the film that I
it.
asked, "Are you guys going to be watching in the next 2 weeks by any chance?" And you said no.
Yeah, I remember that.
Had zero plans.
And
had
then you go
zero
fucking
plans
watch
to
it.
see it.
Yeah.
Had zero plans to go see it. To be honest with you, I do apologize. I actually forgot about that. But yeah, it's yeah, I liked it. It's enjoyable. I don't know. It didn't do like a ton for me, but it's sort of, I don't know. It's fairly pretty much what the trailer was, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, the trailer didn't do anything for me either, though. So like, I don't know. Like, but I did like them better than that. So like, I don't know. If I give the trailer like a 4 out of 10, I'd give the movie I gave the movie a 6. So it's like, you know, it's moment to moment. It's fun. There's a fair amount of funny stuff in there for sure. It's surprising. Like, it keeps you engaged, no doubt. Like, I feel like, I don't know, for me personally, if this were, there's, all these Netflix films that come out and they trend number 1 on Netflix for a couple of weeks and then they're never heard of from again. Like, if this was one of those, this would be the best Netflix original film I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Where like I would have been, I was engaged. It was fun. I had some surprises, like some notable cast members that were fun to see. Like, I was like, oh yeah, that's great, awesome, love it, had a good time, never going to think about it again, that sort of thing. That's how I felt about it. It's very well made, but I don't know. There are
Just wait
some
for the
things it does
sequel,
that I
V-Line train.
that's going to be hype, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, probably a bit less exciting, especially with some of the stuff that goes on in this film. But no, like it is overall funny. It's just I don't know, like it very much leans into certain stylings that it goes for, like a sort of Tarantino-esque stuff at times, and it's weirdly sort of feels like a combination of like Tarantino, John Wick, and Free Guy in some respects as well, with some of the humor, but like sort of I don't know, it never comes together in a way that like I thought was super exciting. I don't know, but I appreciate it. It was good. Like I'd recommend watching it for sure. I don't think anyone would be disappointed by it. And you know, if you like Brad Pitt, you get plenty of Brad Pitt, so that's good. As always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is the best sci-fi aesthetic? Caleb comes in with his debut and says it Blade Runner, which is a great answer, and I feel stupid I didn't think of it. But yeah. Andy said, my favourite sci-fi aesthetic, probably The Matrix. I literally just edited and changed my answer to his comment. But green, computer, cool science fiction shit. My original answer was Star Wars, but I realised The Matrix was a thing. I needed to support what Luke was saying first after all. Very good. And he says that because then Luke comes in and says, got to agree with Andy. And he's in reference to Star Wars. This whole thing's a mess. The sound effects are just awesome and the space battles are great. This is going to be everyone's answer, he claims. Yeah. And then Andy went and retroactively changed to The Matrix. But I actually prefer Andy's answer because it's another one I feel stupid for not thinking of. And it's got a great aesthetic and it's not Star Wars. So I appreciate the answer. Very good. So some good answers there. Blade Runner and The Matrix. And Star Wars is sort of a bit obvious. But you know.
You see, they're giving films of it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But also, I feel like, okay, so the question, like, what's your favorite sci-fi aesthetic? Doesn't lend itself like totally to one film, but also like if you're saying Star Wars, I feel like each 3 movies has a different aesthetic. Like that's part of the reason why so many people have a difference of opinion of whether they like the prequels or the originals. It's like their aesthetics are totally different, you know.
You see,
like,
if you
might definitely disagree, but
if you were to give like Star Wars like a broad kind of sci-fi genre, it'd be kind of a hard sci-fi space opera type thing.
Sure.
I mean, like Star Wars isn't the aesthetic; it's Star Wars is the movie, you know.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But this is what we talked about when we chose the question, Jane. Is that like, yeah, like no one's going to be able to name aesthetics. Like, that's what you're for, and I'm stoked for your answer. But like, I feel like just listing examples is adequate. Like that's all I can do.
Okay.
That's all I'm capable of doing.
Mm.
But Jane, what's your answer? And I'd love, please give me
My
some
answer.
goddamn labels to this shit.
Well, my answer kind of varies. On screen, I'll eat anything up. Like you put me in front of any sci-fi, I'll fucking chew it up and spit it out and eat it again. But like, something I really love is in the written form is kind of in the printed form. In fact, not written, we'll say printed, because it extends into images as well. Is like this kind of post-war modernist kind of sci-fi. Like this like it's kind of been ascribed as Adam Punk or Ray Punk now. But it kind of goes beyond. That's kind of then subcategorizing a subgenre already. But like in the works of Philip K. Dick, like his writing originally is very much what like Adam Punk is what people call it now. And I love it. It's so fantastic. And like this kind of nuclear family and this Cold War kind of like confusion, like that kind of ideal, very much like the start of Fallout 4. Like kind of, like
yes,
like that kind of vibe. But his work's obviously later been appropriated into film and has been changed to cyberpunks and into kind of hard sci-fi that you kind of get in like Minority Report and shit like that. Which I'm not always fond of, but it happens. But yeah, it's like in the printed form, love me some retro kind of post-war vibes. On screen, I'll eat up anything.
You sci-fi whore. Nice. What about you, Fitzy?
Well, okay, I think I'm looking at like some sci-fi films. I think like I like more. I think I don't know because I also like more maximalist stuff. But like I like indie sci-fi where it's not fully like sci-fi isn't fully integrated like coherence or like primer even where it's like it's mainly just like normal, uh, normal situations. But there's some really uh really big concept or something, and they kind of play with it very like less CGI, I guess. There's like the in primary coherence. There's no there's no real effects or anything, but it's still really creepy and eerie, and it still feels very sci-fi, like that kind of aesthetic is.
Would you say Gattaca? Is that?
To an
Yeah,
extent.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was thinking of Gattaca. Also, like Gattaca is a perfect example of the kind of sci-fi aesthetic I enjoy because I also like more lowly lit stuff, I guess. Like, what would you say? I mean, Solaris, like the 2002 film, that's a good example of that. Also, I was gonna say like Terry Gilliam sci-fi is kind of like that. Like, it's like there's a lack of special effects. It's more like practical stuff, like a lot of suits and stuff, a lot of weird shit, like weird, like props and stuff. Uh, yeah, I don't know.
It's called soft sci-fi, kind of what you've been describing. Kind of
Yeah,
concept
I
heavy,
guess
but
so.
not very into it. Like, not very kind of, showy.
I'm going to completely fail at any names, so I probably should have gone first. But I mean, for me, it's. I mean, Star Wars is a duh, but I don't. But in saying that, like, I don't enjoy sci-fi. Like, I don't like Star Trek aesthetically. I don't like I don't know, things like Battlestar and all that sort of shit. Like, I don't like spaceships. I don't like the look of spaceships and space stations really that much. Like, I don't know, it doesn't really do a lot for me. I like it. I like it in Star Wars because Star Wars is is a space fantasy. Like, I like fantasy shit. You know what I mean? I don't really like these futuristic takes and stuff. So I much prefer like grounded stuff in terms of like stuff on Earth, like Blade Runner's great. But a recent example I thought of, we were just talking about it earlier actually, but like I was trying to think of a more different answer, and like Arcane is awesome. Like I love that aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
Would you
Steampunk.
say like is that steampunk? Yeah. That's what I was going to guess.
Have we all seen Arcane at this point?
Mhm.
All seen it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was a modern one that came to mind that I thought was a bit different and like totally stands out. I just love like stuff that's like I don't know, not like grandiose like space opera-ish, but like just I don't know, it's like a city. It feels like a parallel universe of some sort. Where
Have you
it's like
seen
it's
Mortal Engines?
clearly different technology and shit going on, but um, but it still feels like Earth in some way. No, I haven't seen Mortal Engines. No,
Okay,
I feel like that might be up my alley.
yeah, it does sci-fi well. I mean, like, yeah. And steampunk well. Yeah.
Okay, but I don't know. Like, is it good?
I mean, it was better than what I was going in for because like
Oh, okay.
I just watched it on a whim because it was on TV. So and like
Oh, sure.
I'd only ever heard bad things about it. So like I mean like it was good.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Like when I saw the premise was like the cities are on movable wheels, I was like, that's sort of dumb.
Oh, it's pretty dumb, but yeah, it's alright.
Okay. It looked pretty dumb. I think I saw the trailer. And it was something like London is coming at us, and it's like moving. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need that to be honest, but cool. Okay, very very good. I
Wait,
can sort of see that. Yeah.
but why not feel like the prequels and the originals are like totally different aesthetics? Because I feel like the prequels are just like, they're very prop based and practical, and then the prequels are obviously very, CGI hammed up kind of thing. Like
I mean, they're different approaches to filmmaking, but I think their aesthetics. There's definitely an evolution in the designs. Like that was intentional to sort of evolve the designs of the ships and the world to make it like a different era. But I think I still think the aesthetic is the same. Like
Yeah.
it's the same. Like everything feels like it belongs. Like I don't think they're opposed. Personally,
I don't know.
But
I feel like
yeah.
it's total like minimalism versus like maximalism kind of. But like for the time, I guess Star Wars was pretty big, like scale wise. So I don't know.
I wouldn't call the original Star Wars minimalist.
No.
I mean, I get like, I guess it's more industrial and less vibrant than the prequels, but I think that's intentional. I mean, I'm not saying you're not saying it's intentional, but I just mean I still think it fits under the same umbrella.
Very interesting.
Let us continue this conversation later. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comment section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join our Discord server. This week, the question we are asking you is, I'm having a flicker of doubt like we've asked this before, but I don't know. I don't think so. What is the best movie with an Avenger in it? So what is the best film with an Avenger cast member?
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
Preferably don't say like an actual Avenger movie, you know?
And we've limited to the original 6 as well. So like you can't just pull, someone from later.
Do you want to definitively say that? Because I was sort of happy to leave it, and then when someone inevitably comes in with not an original 6 answer, we then blast them.
Oh, I mean, it's up to you.
But then if we didn't outline it, we can't really blast them, can we?
Yeah, I mean, you're the editor. You can choose.
Good point. Let's do it this way. We are outlining it must be the original 6 Avengers, right? Now, there's probably going to be someone who answers who hasn't listened to this explicit part of the episode. So they're going to do it, and then we can blast them. How about
that? Set them up for failure. Yep. Sounds good.
Love it. Okay, very good. Yeah, and good point, Jan. No, you can answer like a Marvel Studios film if you like also, but we're going to blast you as well. Just so you know.
You've got plenty of options. I mean, like, you shouldn't choose.
Oh, yeah. All right, that's it for this week's episode of Cinema Effect. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Fitzy, why the hell did we ask that question? What are we doing next week?
We're doing the Hurt Locker, which smashed the poll. 9 versus 3.
You're not meant to reveal that. Don't reveal that. It was thousands of votes.
Yeah, 90 versus 30 is what I meant to say. But
still too low.
We're doing did I say it? Yeah, the Hurt Locker, which is on Stan. Jeremy Renner, that's why we're asking it, because Jeremy Renner is in it, and he was Arrow guy.
Green Arrow.
Hawke.
Yeah, Purple Arrow.
Actually, I think Anthony Mack is in it as well. I mean, so like if we were to... you could have.
Perfect question.
Yeah, very good. Is this a Catherine Bigelow film?
It is.
And she also did Zero Dark 30?
Correct.
It's so funny. Like I didn't like make that connection, but in my head, like these, I guess I previously thought so just because of the subject matter, but like they sort of exist parallel in my brain. But there's another reason they connect as well. Perfect. All right, very good. Thanks, Liam and Jana, for joining me as always. We'll see everyone next week, and goodbye.